Fermi Paradox is a famous paradox that was initially talked about supposedly by a bunch of the great physicists in the world on their lunch break, where they had done the math trying to figure out the possibilities of intelligent life being elsewhere in the universe. And the math is so overwhelmingly in favor of the idea that there must be, right? There's hundreds of billions of stars in our galaxy, hundreds of billions of galaxies in the universe. It just seems like a slam dunk, right? So then Enrico Fermi, famously, one of the great physicists ever, famously then says to the group, so where is everybody?
Kepler Space Observatory has found hundreds of planets just around nearby stars. And if you extrapolate that data, it looks like there could be 500 billion planets just in our own galaxy. If only 1 in 10,000 has conditions that might support a form of life, that's still 50 million possible life-harboring planets right here in the Milky Way. So here's the riddle. Our Earth didn't form until about 9 billion years after the Big Bang. Countless other planets in our galaxy should have formed earlier and given life a chance to get underway billions, or certainly many millions of years earlier than happened on Earth. If just a few of them had spawned intelligent life and started creating technologies, those technologies would have had millions of years to grow in complexity and power. On Earth, we've seen how dramatically technology can accelerate in just 100 years. In millions of years, an intelligent alien civilization could easily have spread out across the galaxy, perhaps creating giant energy harvesting artifacts, or fleets of colonizing spaceships, or glorious works of art that fill the night sky. At the very least, you'd think they'd be revealing their presence, deliberately or otherwise, through electromagnetic signals of one kind or another. And yet we see no convincing evidence of any of it.
Last week, an unidentified flying object was seen and recorded by multiple media sources over Denver. Not only was it seen by multiple witnesses, it was recorded on high-def, high-speed, high-name-it cameras. And news agencies all over the world aired it, but not too much and not for too long. In fact, this thing appeared to be flying at such mind-blowing speeds and changing directions in a split second, certainly faster than any craft that we have in our possession or know of, allegedly. Only after the recordings were slowed down could you see this amazing object that was under the apparent control of deliberate propulsion. NORAD, the Sergeant Schultz eagle-eyed protectors that allegedly allowed 4 hijacked planes to create what is now known as 9/11, said, of course, they have no idea what it was. Now, this officially makes the gajillionth report recording an eyewitness account of a UFO since the beginning of time. I want you to think of these 2 absolute and irrefutable facts. First, the Earth is 4.54 billion years old, or 4,540 million years old. Let's assume there's another planet somewhere that's 4,541 million years old. That means they've got 1 million years on us. What level of development can a species attain in 1 million years? Here's the second point. The Wright brothers made their historic flight in 1903. Less than 70 years later, Neil Armstrong walked on the moon. Think about it. In the span of 66 years, look what was and can be accomplished. Now think of what could happen in 1 million years. But here's the fascinating part. What will it take for the mainstream media to take these events seriously? Do you think not that extraterrestrials exist or could exist or have existed, but do you believe that since time immemorial, for multiple millennia, that these folks who have reported these events were hallucinating or part of a conspiracy to lie and make up and embellish? And if not, do you think that there is a rule, an unwritten but an absolute and existing rule, that establishes that reporting on these stories or digging any deeper is not to happen and won't happen? for a new society that will do a 12-part series on Honey Boo Boo. Do you not find it amazing that there's absolutely no interest whatsoever in further investigating what, when you think of it, is the greatest story of all time? Think about it. A story that transcends not Americans or the world, but human existence, and not a peep. Interesting, huh?